Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Asal Way podcast with me, Samrit and Ashwin. We're present on all socials. We're on Twitter at the Asal Away. We're on YouTube as well. Click the bell icon to get notified whenever we launch a new video. And we're on Facebook as well. So please go like our page, share it with your friends, hopefully Arsenal fans, and follow us back. We're a growing channel to Gooners based out of India. Love for you to support us and give us videos to watch. Starting off, just going to review the Leeds game. Ashwin, a game of two halves, if there ever was one, getting battered in the first and then just completely overrunning them in the second. Thoughts on how you felt the game was when you were watching it?
I think you hit the nail on the head. Game of two halves, literally. The first half felt like we were back under Unai Emery because the team. I mean, it wasn't that we were being outplayed by a team in the first division, but it just looked like nobody knew what they were doing, and the energy and the closing down that we were so used to in the first two games or the first three games under Arteta, we didn't get to see that at all. So the first half they had 15 shots on goal and to our three shots. It felt like one of those days where we were conceding 20 and 22 shots on goal under Emery, and it just looked like a different Arsenal side. And second half, I don't know what I mean. Like I said, came out saying that Arteta went inside and he screamed and yelled at them, but I don't know what he said or how he said it, but that definitely worked because we looked like a absolutely different unit in the second half. We did to them what they were doing to us, and it was unbelievable. Like we had 13 shots to their three shots on goal, and not only that, everything, the energy changed, the closing down changed. We were creating better chances. Guendouzi, who I thought had a stinker in the first half, was more involved, was probably man of the match for me in the second half. Same with Ozil. Ozil didn't get in the game at all in the first half. We were very deep. We were very. It wasn't us. And even someone like Socrates, who was playing out of position, second half he did really well. First half I thought he struggled a bit, and you can expect that because you're not. I mean, he's not a right back. And what didn't also help was that Rob Holding came back and looked very rusty. He was okay defensively, but his passing was way off, and he put us into situations where a better team on a night would have capitalized and made us pay for it. But yeah, a game of two halves. Another good thing that I want to talk about is that uh, I wanted to see how the team would respond after being so bad, and it's good to see that Arteta can get them to change the way they play and have that impact without the team having to start well. So that was a good positive for me to see. But apart from that, just glad that we're past that round because Leeds looked deadly. They didn't look like a team in the championship, a team from the championship at all. I mean, they look like a team who's ready for the Premier League. And if they come to the Premier League next year, they're certainly going to give a lot of teams trouble under Bielsa. So yeah, it was a good test, but I'm just glad we got through.
No, you're right. There was when I was watching the first half, I was thinking that this team that we're playing, first off, I didn't think he'd put out such a strong team. I thought he'll do a bit of rotation, just seeing how our game is just so drastically different from the older regime. I thought he'll rest a lot of players. I didn't think the likes of Lacazette, Ozil, Pepe would get a start. But having said that, you're right. We were not on the ball in the first half. It was a completely un-Arteta esque team. Second to everything, misplaced passes. A number of times, Rob Holding gave the ball away to the Leeds players. Patrick Bamford just had an off night. He hit the post as well in the first half. So yeah, it didn't bode well. But I think this sort of performance was required as well. As you very rightly said, now we know that Arteta can say something at halftime, and that will just spur the players on to do it, to completely change their performance in the second half. I mean, even though Reese's goal was scrappy, but the fact that he was there at the right place at the right time, and probably that misplaced kick is what put the keeper off from making the save. Other maybe if he had actually connected with the ball, it would have probably been saved. But you're right, we were so much better in the second half, barely giving Leeds time on the ball. Um, Socrates, to me, yes, you're right, because of the fact that it was a new position and it'll take anyone, I mean, someone as big as him to do that running and adapt to a new position takes a while. But I thought once he got into it, he was brilliant. That little scuffle he had on the corner flag with 3 or 4 Leeds players coming in. I thought that was it was funny, but also you know that he's not a pushover. He's never been a pushover. He's always been a strong guy. But that was, I think, it showed that if nothing else, there's fight there with the players.
It was proper
Uh,
shithousery.
Proper. I mean, it was brilliant. Xhaka also. There was a very interesting moment when Xhaka took a cynical foul and then he took the card and he had that smile on his face, which is good to see because we've. It shows that Arteta is also instilling a sense of being a bit naughty when required in midfield, taking those fouls, being smart about where we are in the game and what when to make such fouls, which is good to see. Which we've always been accused of having a soft underbelly and just rolling over really quickly. So I like the fact that we're doing that. Uh, and for now it was Leeds. For all you know, it might not work against the City, but the fact that he did that at the right moment, at the opportune moment, it shows that it's that's all Arteta. It was, we haven't seen it in the last 18 months under Emery at all. On Guendouzi, I mean, look, he's 20. He's going to take time to build himself into a proper player, and he will have these off games. I've actually seen him have more good games than bad. He invariably, I remember in start of the season, he was the one who was actually pulling us through games. However, we were getting those results or whatever that brand of football was. But second half, he was brilliant. He was again, he's a Guendouzi that we've seen in the earlier part of the season. But no positive signs. I thought Reese had a very good game. He was. I was reading on Twitter today, and they wanted to sell him apparently in the summer, but Emery said that they want to keep him and he wants to fight for his place. Wenger's always said that he's one of the best youngsters he's seen come through, and it's good to see Reese play with a lot more freedom. I think that goal will do him some confidence as well, give him that confidence to go ahead and perform in games because he knows he's got Arteta's backing. And he will make mistakes, Ashwin. I mean, with every youngster, you can't expect them to have a good game. You don't expect even world class players to have a great game every game. Yeah. So with him, Saka, Pepe, I think he's still young. Not that, I mean, the price tag's attached to, but he's still young. I think we've got makings of a good squad there for the coming years. But I mean, this is not the first time we've said that we've had the makings of a good squad, and then this things go downhill. But no, happy we've gotten through. He said the FA Cup's important for him, so it's fine. I'm happy we got the result moving forward.
Have you seen that documentary on Amazon Prime about Man City?
Yes.
Yeah. So when Lacazette spoke about how Arteta shouted at them, that moment popped into my head when Pep gets upset with the whole squad and he's shouting at them saying, "Sit down and shut up. I don't want anybody talking." So that was something that I imagined him doing as well. And I think that's something that the players needed because, Wenger was known for the guy to like never say anything during his team talks because he was the sort of person who said that he wanted it to come from within the players and he would rather let somebody from the team talk and inspire. And Patrick Vieira used to do that a lot under the Invincible team. So he would just sit by and let people think about what mistakes they did. And I mean, since Wenger, we've had Unai Emery, and probably Emery had the right intentions to do this, but just because the communication barrier must have been a problem. So players must have not have been able to understand him and take him seriously. But we've needed somebody who can affect the game like that and make these changes because the second half we look like an absolutely different team, right? And even someone like Lacazette, who right now is not being able to contribute to his goals, but the work rate that he's putting in and the shift that he's putting in is brilliant. He was unlucky that he hit the bar, and I think there was another chance where he played a 1-2 with Ozil, and Ozil played him through. I mean, not through, but at the on the edge of the box, and he tried to finish it with a curling effort, and the keeper made a great save. But the goals will come. But Lacazette right now, his all-round play is so good that I don't know if we can drop him. Even though someone like a Martinelli is coming back and Reese is good on form, I mean Reese's form is improving. I don't know if on Saturday we can go there with Oba playing up top and either Martinelli or Reese or Pepe on the wings and give Lacazette that break. But then again, it comes down to the same thing, right? We talk about how Firmino doesn't contribute to Liverpool much with goals, but he's so vital to their play that he makes Mane and Salah look good. I mean, if we can convert Lacazette into doing that, it'll be great. But yeah, positive signs. Like I said, I was glad Emery could make that difference. He could change it up. It's been a while since we've seen the Emirates full for a FA Cup third round game, so that was good again. Another great point was that at halftime, even though we were terrible in the first half, the fans didn't boo their team off, which is a positive sign. Second half, as you mentioned, we improved. Shaka's for me, I think under Arteta, I don't know what he's done, but he's unlocked Xhaka in a very different way. I don't think I've ever seen Xhaka sprint with the ball ever before in this last game. Like I think he there were I think there were two or three sprints that he made, and where he picked up the ball from our half and he ran into the to our box. I mean the opposition box, sprinting and taking people on. And I don't think I've seen Xhaka do something like that. So it's great that he's wanting his players to take that responsibility and run with the ball instead of just looking for a pass. So it adds another element to the team. It adds another dimension to the team, and just onwards and upwards from here. The more we pick up these wins, the better the team's confidence grows. And not only that, we've now kept two clean sheets, which I don't two consecutive clean sheets. Let's say it that way. I don't think I don't remember the last time we kept these two consecutive clean sheets in a while. So all it does is, even though we have a very shaky defense as well as a makeshift defense, for them to keep a clean sheet will just bode well for him and the confidence of the team.
No, great points. I mean, before I come to Lacazette, what I mean, I've always enjoyed watching Xhaka play. I'm not on the side of getting of him being sold or him whatever happened with him and the fans. I understood that. I think you and I have spoken about that in the past as well. We understood that reaction. You still didn't think it was appropriate. I thought it was justified in a way because of how the fans treated him. But you're right. He looks so much better in his position. I was also reading that Arteta likes players with the left foot because it gives players a different dimension and sort of a balance. And you're right, his distribution which is always great. He seems to be losing the ball a lot less over at least a few games that we've watched. Maybe that's also because of the fact that he knows that if ever something like that happens, you have someone like Torreira who's playing in his proper position and who's doing his usual mad dog runs all about the pitch and just snapping at people's heels. And you're right, I think I've enjoyed watching Xhaka so much more over the last few games. And look, every player will have a bad game now and then. So there'll be a player who'll lose the ball, and it could lead up to a throw or a goal. I mean, that's just how the game is. But he's just looked so much better, and I'm glad that he's chosen to stick around, and Arteta wants him to stick around. I think he's an important player for us, um, not only in the league but otherwise as well. We've heard in the past of players respect him, his influence in the dressing room. I mean, there's a reason why he was captain of Switzerland. There was a reason why he was made captain earlier. There's a reason why Wenger also brought him to the club. So there's a lot that these players bring in, who, while maybe not that flashy on the pitch, but obviously offer a lot more just in terms of just their presence or just on the pitch in terms of experience. So coming to Lacazette, I think while yes, we understand that our goals are missing, his goal contribution is not there, and you're right, he's bringing in a lot of bringing on others play, his physicality on the ball, his running stats, it's all there to see. But my question is, we didn't pay 50 million quid for a player like that. If we had a player like that, we had Giroud who would do that anyways for us. If the idea was to then have a have a center half or a striker play in that support role where he's just laying off players, we'd rather just get rid of him and buy someone who's cheaper and who can do that for us and maybe invest that money somewhere else. For someone who was so prolific in France, and that amount of money we paid for him, um, not that I don't want to I don't want to sound like I'm unhappy with his performance, but I'd like to see the goals come in sooner rather than later. Otherwise, we can just buy Giroud back and just have him play in that position, or someone like Giroud. So that's where I'm with Lacazette. I think he brings a lot because of the running style that a game involves currently. But there needs to be end product. Otherwise, it's even if we look at cashing him on him in the summer, you're not going to recoup anything even close to what we paid for him for someone who doesn't have any goals attached to his name. I get it that he brings a lot of else into his game for the 11, for the other 10 people who are starting, but there needs to be goals. Otherwise, it's we just rather get someone else who can do that for us. And the difference with him and Firmino, Ashwin, is the fact that Firmino still contributes in terms of assists, or he'll score a goal now and then. But with Lacazette, we haven't seen that for a while now, and it's ever since he's come back. And even before his injury, his form was waning. So I'm not really seeing his output in terms of value that has been attached to him.
I mean, that's a fair point. I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you whether that what Lacazette is doing is enough for the club. Clearly, there are talks about a player. I mean, there are talks about Edison Cavani that Arsenal are being linked with on Twitter. I mean, I know that could just be paper talk and just clickbait, or the agent trying to get a move or somewhere else, or getting some more money. But would you welcome a signing like Edison Cavani to the club?
Isn't he like 31 now? Like 32?
31.
I mean, we it depends. Is Aubameyang leaving?
Um,
Is have we strengthened the other areas of the pitch where we need people? We need someone in midfield to score goals. Ozil's not getting any younger. Um, the pretty much the entire defense will be pretty young when Saliba joins us next year. Socrates is 31. Bellerin is injury prone. Your Tierney is um, also been has a history of breaking down quite a bit. Kolasinac, I don't think will be here come next summer, come June, July. Niles, whether he wants to continue playing backup to Bellerin, I don't know. I think there are other areas of the pitch where we need players, and striking department is not someone I would look at right now. Um, and not someone who's a 31-year-old Ashwin, and he's going to cost a shitload of money, and I don't think we will spend that this summer.
So if we had to sign two players in Jan, what positions do you think we need to fill?
I think centre half for sure. For sure, we need a centre half. If I'm really gutted about Chambers because
He was looking good.
what happens is, yeah, he's been probably the only silver lining in this entire since the bloody season has started. And what happens is now Chambers is back. I don't think Chambers will be back before 2021 at least. He's out for a year at least. Even though they say 8-9 months by the time he does match fitness and all of that, and he'll come back, they'll invariably with an ACL. You have other niggling injuries that keep cropping up, as we're seeing with Bellerin and with other players in the past. What will happen is if we buy a centre half, and we need to buy a centre half, someone like him who's been on a good run will have to rebuild, and whether he gets his chance to display that sort of form, he's going to go down the pecking order anyways. So you'll have Luis, as I'm sure he'll be here next summer, another year. Socrates will probably remain because the senior most centre halves in the team. Holding, I don't know. I don't think he's been good. Um, He's been very on and off. Granted, he's coming back from injury, but I don't think he's anywhere close to what Chambers is currently. Another centre half would mean, and Saliba's coming back as well. So you'll have like enough and more centre halves, and buying one more when you know need players who can fill in that spot, who've done well. I don't know. It'll be tough for Chambers. I feel bad for him because he's been really good. He was great with Fulham last year. He's been great for us. But I think centre half for sure. Upamecano is how you pronounce his
Yeah,
name.
Upamecano.
Upamecano and I think a centre half for sure. I think we'll probably do with a midfielder if we can get someone on loan who's available who could maybe pitch in with 7, 8 goals till the end of the season. I think that would be great for us.
So the two players we've been linked with for centre back is Jerome Boateng from Bayern Munich and Thomas Lemar from Atletico Madrid.
No. Yeah, I know we wanted Lemar a couple of seasons back. We £90 million. I remember that number. It was a
Last year's
panic sort
window.
of bid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lemar hasn't really been, you know, taking La Liga by storm at all.
I mean, to be
Maybe
fair,
this
he's
team doesn't suit him.
yeah. To
Maybe
be
the
fair,
team doesn't suit him.
he's playing under a very defensive coach in Simeone.
Yeah, and maybe I don't know. Maybe he can. Arteta can do with Lemar what he's done with Sterling and Sane, from wingers to just proper lethal finishers as well. Maybe he can do that. Um, but then again, I would rather us buy someone in the midfield. We already have wingers. We've got Martinelli who can play on the wing. You've got Pepe who's already sorted on the wing. Nelson's there. Smith Rowe is there. Um, we've got Willock who can maybe do better, but I think Willock needs. I think Willock could do with a loan. He still looks so much more raw than what a Martinelli does. Not that just in terms of ability on the pitch, not in their output. I think Martinelli is just much more smarter when it comes to what to do. Um, so I think a centre half for sure. I'd like to see someone in the midfield come in just so we have some cover there for either Torreira, Guendouzi, Xhaka, and someone who can actually pitch in with some goals because we're not getting that enough from midfield.
Mhm. All right,
What
fair.
about you? Who do you think? Should come in?
Uh, so at the moment, I mean, we've been linked with Hakim Ziyech as well. We were linked with him in the summer as well, but I don't think we'd probably shell out 50 million for him right now. Again, for a position that we don't necessarily need. Uh, I, I think priority for us is probably a right back or a centre back because, as you mentioned, Hector, he's been injury prone for a while. He's been coming back from an injury. He's been picking up these small niggles, and we've also lost Callum Chambers, who could fill in at right back. So, I mean, Ainsley's done really well under Arteta, but he's not truly a right back. So, we could do with a right back so that he can come and give Hector competition next year. I think we were linked with somebody from Norwich, who's a young English right back. And I don't know if it was how true this is, but Twitter had some murmurs going around that Arteta doesn't really trust Hector that much, and he really wants this right back from Norwich. So defense is definitely a position that we need strengthening in. Another position I think we could strengthen is probably centre mid, because I think our best midfield pairing is Xhaka and Torreira. But the way that the two of them have been playing, I don't think we'll be able to consistently keep doing it. I think you saw when Xhaka and Guendouzi play together, there is a little bit of disconnect because Guendouzi can't really. I feel the two of them are very similar. The slower players, and you need somebody like a Torreira to break up play. So maybe like somebody in midfield, like a. I'm saying Thomas Partey, but it's not going to be easy to sign somebody of his ilk in this window, and he's obviously going to cost at least 50, 60 million. But somebody in that position who can just sit and be the breaker and break down play and be the shield in front of the back line. So that's the two positions I'd see us wanting to get somebody. But I'd be very surprised if we go out and actually spend money. I think it'd be more for loan with an option to buy. And I hope it's not one of those Dennis Suarez type signings that we had, which is one of the most bizarre signings I've seen. Even more bizarre than the Kim Shalstrom signing. But yeah, so somebody who can come help the team, maybe even an experienced head who can help the younger players, towards the end of the game and close down games. Somebody in midfield.
I think Kim Kallstrom is an Arsenal legend. I think it is. He helped us win an FA Cup, so I think we should re-sign him if he's available and he doesn't have a broken back. But jokes apart, I mean, even though we're linked with Upamecano, he also has a history of breaking
Injuries.
down. He's not. Yeah, he's also has a pretty uh, healthy track record of injuries.
Talking about injuries, William Saliba is also very injury prone, by the way.
Yeah, Saliba had a metatarsal
Yeah,
couple of months back,
yeah.
but he's back running. So yeah, I think we seem to attract these players or go for these players. I think injuries and us just go hand in hand, I guess, as a club. So hopefully we've signed someone who can actually make a difference, whoever that person is, because there's definitely going to be a lot of changes in the coming months. Arteta will bring in his own players who can play, who he thinks will adapt to his philosophy.
Hmm.
Um, Also, if I remember correctly, Pep also had a lot of issues in his first season with injuries and just. I mean, he had a piggy bank. He could just pick and buy players whenever he wanted. I remember him signing like some four wing backs or fullbacks, and then picking and choosing who gets to play when. Um, Carl Walker, Mendy, who are the other two? I forget. Zinchenko at one point, Delph at one point. Um, so yeah, he's had his fun at City and buying whoever he wanted.
Yeah, Laporte,
Hopefully,
Otamendi, John Stones, all these
yeah,
guys.
I mean John Stones, yeah. So hopefully those changes will happen, but again, my point is always, like I've maintained even with Emery, whatever decision needs to be made quickly for the sake of now Arteta and for how he's seeing his vision. If they're giving him a 3.5 year deal, please support him with what he wants without really thinking too much about it. For of course, understand there's money there that needs to be spent smartly, but just give him the freedom to implement and grow how he thinks is the right direction for the club.
I quickly want to just get into this. I know, even though that there were talks of Josh Kroenke actually putting in some money to fund the players that we signed in the summer, especially like Pepe or somebody, and that might happen again next year with Arteta in charge. But I was reading somewhere that Arsenal could fall under trouble with the FFP because we've not made the Champions League for a while, and there are some rules about even the owners coming and investing their money, and so we might have to be very careful with that. Arteta might not have the sort of funds available to him as that Emery had this last year, but hoping that a few player sales can help and a few gems, scout some good gems and get them, and hopefully Arteta can turn them into world beaters and make us challenge again.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and claim that I understand FFP completely or what entails, uh, what are its ins and outs. I don't know, but I think we also know that very desperately need Champions League football
Mm-hmm.
to give us that money. I think any player that comes in will be offset by sales like the one we had with Iwobi. No one expected Iwobi to go.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment like a 40 million pound offer came in, and look, we have players who have some value. So I think I don't think either Lacazette or Aubameyang, one of them will be sold in the summer. I don't think both of them will stick around post this summer once the season ends. Hopefully, we have the Europa League that we can now look forward to finally, and hopefully it'll take us. We'll go deep in that competition, maybe win it this year. Um, but any major player signing, like, and you're right, we might not have a summer like we did last year, but um, I just hope that when it's required and he's supported, and that's all that there is to it. I don't know how FFP will impact us. I don't think it will. I'm sure they're smart enough there to understand that you need to do something about it, and I think they will. Be it like an out of the blue selling like Iwobi, or however, but they're sure they'll do whatever they can to help Arteta out.
All right, quickly then. Game for the weekend. We go to Selhurst Park. I mean, last year we could have had Champions League if not for Wilfried Zaha coming to the Emirates and beating us 2-1, and that whole saga between the summer of us wanting Zaha and then going out and buying Pepe. So, not the easiest place to go to. I was reading a stat that the last three times that we've gone there, we've conceded two goals. They're basically a team that thrive on confidence, and uh, I, it's a situation where I think we've been 2-0 up also so many times, and then one set piece, they score a goal, and then the crowd puts pressure on you. They start cheering every ball, and that increases the intensity of the players, and then they go and somehow in the 90th minute make it 2-2. It's just that sort of place. But I was also reading that Crystal Palace are entering this game with 10 or 11 first team players injured, but it would be Arsenal to go there, play the young team, lose to them, and come back. But hopefully not under Arteta. So, what do you think? Thoughts about the game? Predictions? Who do you think we line up with, and how do you think we do?
I've never enjoyed watching us play away at Palace.
Hmm.
Never. From the time when the players got booed off to any game, that stadium with the closer of the fans to the pitch, I never enjoy us watching play at Palace, or even that. And I think Bournemouth are two away games that Bournemouth I still understand because they still go for it, and you do end up getting a result there. But Palace have never enjoyed. Hodgson just seems to get his team right invariably for whenever they're playing us. And you're right. They've gotten their penalty taker, Mile. How do you pronounce it? Mile Jojovic, whatever.
Milivojevic.
Uh, yeah, he's also out. He got suspended, so he's not playing.
Milivojevic.
I didn't know about the fact that they've got 10, 11 first team players missing. If that's the case, then we're definitely losing 2-0, 3-0, because that's just how things roll with us. Whenever there's been a crazy stat, we never ended up taking advantage of it. But I think we'll be we just might, maybe it's the Arteta feel good factor that's making me say this, but I think we'll be much more solid at Palace. Um, Zaha, of course, will be one of the stories. I mean, I think Pepe will start, so it'll be a Pepe versus Zaha. Sure, maybe Zaha Pepe might not start because Arteta doesn't maybe want to put that sort of pressure on him and doesn't want to divert. Doesn't want the story to be them as opposed to the story being the clubs battling it out. But no, I think it'll be a close game. I don't see us losing. I think we'll probably get a result. Um, as far as lineup goes, I think Oba will definitely be back. It'll be interesting to see if he plays um, Nelson or not, because he's been playing him for quite a while now. Whether Nelson starts or Pepe starts, it'll be interesting to see if Martinelli starts, because Martinelli looked really sharp as well when he came on, and that he was really quick with the ball on his feet. He had that one chance he fashioned out of nowhere and brought in a save in the second half. Um, I don't know. Is Belden fit enough to start? I think he was back in training.
I think he's back in training, but I think it'll be just a little too early for him. I think he'd probably give him like a home game for him to blood him in. But I think it'll be a little too much, and the intensity will be too much. You'd have Zaha
Yeah,
on that wing.
away, right? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No, you're right. I think Belden might not get this game, but yeah, no, I think Luis definitely will come back in. I think that'll be he's been surprisingly he's looked so much more decent now than under Emery, which says something about Arteta. I guess maybe he just told him to just do his job as opposed to sliding around the pitch and making tackles. Um, I would like to see Luis score one of those amazing free kicks of his.
mhm.
So hopefully that translates into the pitch. But no, I don't think I think it will probably get a result on Saturday.
So going for a win, draw,
No,
win.
no, no, a win. We'll win it. I think.
I
I think
think
we'll be comfortable. I think.
I still don't think it'll be comfortable. I think we'll nick it to probably win it 2-1. It'll just bode well for our confidence. I think just picking up 3, 4 wins together will probably help us, be a little more confident, be able to play the sort of football and believe in what Arteta is doing. So I think we'll go for a 2-1 win, which is good. And then, yeah, I think he's. I don't think he's going to drop Lacazette for the game. I think he's going to play Aubameyang and Lacazette and bring back Torreira into the game. I think it's a tough call between Pepe and Nelson. I think he probably start with Nelson and bring Pepe on to just give him, just when the hopefully when the Crystal Palace players are tiring a little bit, so fresh legs can come in and go for it. We've also got Ceballos back on the bench, so if you need something different from midfield, I think he can probably bring Ceballos on as well. But I think, like I said, I think it'll be a little too early for Bellerin. I don't think he'd want to risk it at Sellers Park. I think he'd want to play him at home, probably give him a little easier run in where there's not that intensity of, like, say, Zaha playing on that wing, coming constantly at him. Plus, I think Ainsley's done well. He's got a week's rest now, so probably playing him there would be good. And you're right. I think Luis has been fantastic. He's looked like a 50 million defender. But those free kicks of his have been rubbish. Like I was on Twitter that day saying that we need to stop. We need to stop giving him those free kicks because he's been like how Marcus Rashford has been in the start of the season, just skying all of those. So I mean, it will come, but no. I think we have better set piece takers, and we probably let them take it instead of having him do it. But yeah, he's been doing a solid job defensively, and I'm just happy about that.
I'm just looking at the table. There's a 9 point gap between us and fourth place, and the fixtures that we have coming up are winnable games. Palace away, Sheffield at home, Chelsea away, which they've been struggling at home quite a bit. Burnley away and Newcastle at home. So I think the winnable games, but I mean obviously not easy, but I think winnable games for him to go on a run at least. If not now, then when?
I mean, I like the fact that you come back with confidence saying that they're winnable games. Full of November, we had winnable games, and you know what happened, right?
Well, yeah, I mean that was a different manager, and no, I mean generally, I think it's encouraging to see how we've been playing, and I'm just basing it off of that because there's been nothing that so far indicates that we're not up for games. At least it just feels that we're up for games and that we're giving us ourselves a fair chance to at least win them.
Mm,
Because these are teams that we should be beating. I mean,
quite
9 times out
comfortably.
of 10. Yeah. So I'm hoping that we turn up for these games. I think we will because Arteta has made it clear that either you turn up or you leave. So it's just how it is. Which is why I'm saying that we need to go on a run. There has to be we invariably go on a run every season. It hasn't happened as yet. I hope it does. And I mean, why not have it start from Palace? We've already won 2 games now, so hopefully it's the start of something great in the next 6 months. Well, not great is the wrong word, but something positive at least in the second half of the season.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nothing better than to go away, get a victory, ease the pressure off the team. Now that you've got a couple of victories in, it'll just bode well for the confidence, bode well for everybody's confidence, and give Mikel that feeling of, okay, the team is actually listening to me, they're responding to me, and they're believing in me, which I think is got to be the biggest thing for us to go.
Yeah, and also I think what's been encouraging is just like you mentioned, the stadium was full for an FA Cup first round of the FA Cup for Arsenal, which has not been the case for the last few years. I think the fans are also buying into the philosophy. They're seeing what he's trying to do, and they've seen a difference on the pitch, and how he's also talked about how important the fans are. So I think there is that um, connection there. They're both playing off each other. Uh, the fans didn't boo the team off at for however badly we were in the first half, and I think that's all like small steps, and I think that is important. And he's always said that over the last month or so that he's been here. So yeah, good times ahead hopefully, and yeah, looking forward to the game now on Saturday.
Yeah, that feeling is back. Anyway, guys, that's been the show. Thanks for joining me, Samrit. And as mentioned at the start of the show, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's a small red button at the bottom. There's a small bell icon next to it. Please hit that so that every time we come out with the video, you guys get notified. Our socials, we're on Facebook, The Arsenal Away, and on Twitter at The Arsenal Away. Please subscribe. Please let us know please give us feedback as to how we can improve and what we can do to make the podcast more enjoyable. Thanks, Amrit. Thank you, guys.
Yep. See you guys.